it's not just like another thing on the list sort of next to everything else. It is the thrust and also the governor on anything that you do. It should be the thing that moves you forward, but also the thing that holds you back from overcompensating on some of these pillars. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Real Men, Real Talk. This is the place where we have uncomfortable conversations in the world's most comfortable underwear. And I gotta tell you guys, I am excited for this episode. It's about sacrificial love. The reason why this is the capstone is each one of the categories that we've already talked about, if they are not put under the banner of sacrificial love, can be used and abused in the wrong way. So Tilghman's gonna offer some stories, and he and I are just gonna sort of riff on this and give you guys some examples of what it's like to live in these categories that we went through, in both in sacrificial love and in selfishness. So Tilghman, you're gonna lead us off with a story of aggression used for good and kept under the banner of sacrificial love. Take it away.
Oh yeah. A lot of people know I used to work at a Dollar General, and the location of this Dollar General was sketchy. It was not a safe neighborhood. A lot of foot traffic, a lot of very interesting dance moves were seen around that place. There was a guy that would come into the store a lot, and he would thieve, and he'd like steal whatever he could get his hands on, basically. And I tried kicking him out a lot of the times. He'd always come back in, there's no security at Dollar General, but anytime I'd call the police, they'd show up like 20 minutes later or something like that. So I was like, okay, we just need to keep an eye out for this guy. And I happened to be closing one night, and I saw him walking up the sidewalk. And I was like, oh, no, no, no. And I was like halfway in the middle of the store, but I could see the front, and I saw him walking up. So I sprinted to the front door, and he tried to open it up. And like, I was hot. I was mad. I was like, you're not coming back in this store. I was throwing whatever curse word I could at him, dude. It was not that a lot of people know, right? So he tries to open the door, and I shove the door, and he like flings off the door. I don't know how hard I shoved this thing, but it must have been like, there was a lot of force with that aggression, right? And I shoved the door, and I slammed the door shut, and I locked it. And then he's like standing at the window, and he's getting up, and he's talking, and he's like flashing this gun. You could tell it was fake, but he was still trying to look like a bad guy, right? And so, for safety, obviously, in my role as a manager, I'd got my team, and we've got ourselves into a safe spot in the store. And that was a moment where I really feel like I used my aggression for the greater good, and that moment has actually spiraled into using my aggression for more better acts as well. I loved my team members. I loved my employees. Like, I had a love for them that any manager might have for a good team. And so I was like, I want these people safe. And so that was my moment of not being a superhero, but hey, we need to get this guy out of here and make sure you guys are safe. So that's where that
Yeah.
comes from. Yeah.
Nice. No, that's really good. And you didn't let the aggression spill over into an overstepping of what needed to be done. He's out of the store, store's safe, people safe, everybody in the back, call police. You knew when to stop.
Yeah. And there are times where I did know where to stop too, but we're not going to get into that.
So for this one, I'll take the bad side because this has been a problem with me, and I'm not going to sit there and blame anybody. Here's where I messed up. When I get to do projects around the house, it can get overwhelming. And there'll be some times when a project just gets really frustrating. Like the spark plug won't come out. Yet another thing gets broken. And I remember one specific time, can't even remember why I was angry, but essentially it was about something breaking. I had just had it. I was so over it. And I ran up to the garage door, and I have this big metal roll-up door, and I grabbed the handle, and I boom, just like slam that thing up. Like, felt good to like just slam something. Well, the problem is I broke my garage door. Like, I broke it really bad. The whole door came unraveled and bang, like the whole thing like fell inside the garage. And I was, like, to use like an older word, I was apoplectic. I was in the stratosphere of anger. Fortunately, I have learned not to like cuss people out like in that, but my wife was out there, and just in pure like agony and rage, I was like, why does everything have to break? And why does the person who fixes it always have to be me? I'm so done with it right now. And as understandable as that anger could be, I let my aggression take over me, and I lost control in that moment. I could have shown my children what it was like to be absolutely over the moon frustrated while also still dealing with it maturely. But no, I broke my garage door hard. It's still broken, by the way.
Oh, you didn't
I
fix
got it. I got it mostly fixed. Like, it rolls up now, but the mainspring is broken.
it, dude.
It's just jacked up, and that's a couple $100 that I just really don't wanna spend right now.
Yeah. As long as it shuts and opens, that's good, right?
That's yeah, like, it works enough, but that is a constant reminder of where I lost it, and I let my aggression get the best of me.
And just to add, Chris, sorry, just to
Yeah,
add, you know, maybe you not fixing it immediately is a good thing for you as a reminder, you know? So you see the garage and,
yeah,
it sounds funny, but, I look at stuff like that and, "Oh, yeah," 'cause so I threw the tailgate went off one time, so you just see that stuff and it's like a constant, "Oh, yeah, I need to control myself
mhm.
because I don't wanna spend that money to fix that if I break it again," so
Yeah. Yes, it's part of my sanctification. Sanctification is just a fancy word for, like, dealing with your sins and actually, like, doing the hard work to be better. Alright, so moving on to the second pillar that we talked, physical strength, if put under the banner of sacrificial love, should be used to keep us strong, healthy, vibrant for our families, for our wives, for our kids. That can start to become a vanity thing where you're like, "Oh, I look good." It's nothing wrong with looking good. Nothing wrong with liking the way you look. But if then that affects the reason why you work out, and now it becomes more about you looking good and not about being healthy, that's where things can stray off into being unhealthy. It's one thing if you're doing competitions and getting just like totally shredded is like part of that. Eli Coffey is a great example of that. Like that's what he does.
for sure.
But for me, I have no business getting down to like even 5% body fat. All right. The amount of work it would take, not good. So, as an example, I was in the military for over a decade and they just made us work out. And God has blessed me with a body that if I like remotely think about working out, I look okay in a t shirt. On the surface, you might be like, oh man, lucky him. And
Right.
sure, in the short term, lucky me. But what I noticed is after I got out of the military, I was lazy. And then it took a few years, but my joints have started to hurt. And I'd get like carpal tunnel in my hand working at a computer because I wasn't working out. I wasn't working my body. And now I'm dealing with the consequences of that where I got to come back into working out and I'm not as strong as I used to be. My heart can't take the same kind of intensity that I used to work out at. My joints can't take it. Like I'm now like paying that bill of looking at myself in the mirror and saying, ah, you still look good and not working out. So if I had thought about sacrificial love, I would have thought about my long term health and continued working out. But the only thing that was keeping me working out was the military. And back then, my vanity a little bit. So, Tillman, you had a story on this, I believe.
Yeah, so I've got football experience. When high school, the football team, our coach, he ran that thing like the military. We worked out every morning. We had like this week in August right before the season started called boot camp. Basically, it was like a course you had to partake in. If you failed or if we didn't finish in one day, we'd have to go back the next day. Crazy stuff. So I've always had that in me. But it happened to be the opposite of you, Chris. If I think about a oatmeal cream pie, I'm gonna gain 20 pounds, right? I can't think about working out and look good in a shirt, you know? It's just like it doesn't
Yeah.
happen for me. Of course, I played on the offensive line, so being bulky was a good thing at that time. But that led into very unhealthy habits as I got older and became an adult because, bulking up was like my favorite thing. I was like, oh, I can eat whatever I want and just lift weight and push these guys around. But I noticed when I'm a husband and father, bulking up and eating whatever I want is going to make me very lethargic. I'm gonna be lazy and I'm not gonna wanna do anything, right? So I'm gonna wanna sit on the couch
Mhm.
and watch TV. So just to sum it up, I think I mentioned it a few episodes ago, there was a time I was on the carnivore diet for like a solid 4 to 6 months, and I was in really
Mhm.
good shape. My mental clarity was there, and I did it because I wanted to be more active with my family, physically,
Mhm.
emotionally, and everything like
Yeah,
that.
I think we gotta pause this story here, but it has to do with one of our later categories. Okay, so moving on to finances. Okay, once again, finances under sacrificial love, finances under selfishness. Finances under sacrificial love, everything that you do is going to be for the wellness, the goodness, the betterment of your family or those who are under your care, whatever your living situation is. Even if you're single, you can be building up a financial cushion for when you get married or for when you have a friend in need. There are so many applications to this. This is not only a family thing. On the selfish side of things, which is where I'm going to tell a story, you start to get infatuated with the number on the screen. And I'll just say for myself, I got really interested in investing in publicly traded companies. And it was a lot of fun. At first, it was about gambling, which a lot of times it is for younger people. I got better at it, but then it turned into watching the gains. Like, ooh, I gained this percent. Like, oh, that stock that I pick is up this much. And it got to the point where I was putting in, for me, an absurd amount of money to where my wife is having trouble buying groceries, but gosh darn it, my stock account looks good and it's for the family. It wasn't for the family. I was being selfish and I wanted to see that number grow. And over the past, let's see, over about the past year, I've been really convicted that I need to stop doing that. And so I took my deposits and I cranked them way down. I'm still putting money in because I think it's important to have the practice of long term investing and just slowly building that up. But right now, it's agonizingly slowly for me. It's dying to myself. Like, it's killing me to see, like, man, I'm only putting in like $10 this week. Like, I could put in so much more. But no, we have expenses coming up. There's medical stuff we got to do. There's vacations for my family. Like, there's more to live for than just the number on the screen. So yeah, don't be like me. I am starting to make that turn, but don't be like me and get infatuated with your own number on the screen. Tillman, I think you had a better example of this. Like,
Yes.
you're kind of doing this right.
Well, kinda, sorta. I've
Kind of.
it's a roller coaster. It's a roller
Within
coaster.
reason.
It's a present day struggle for sure. It's a present day struggle, but, I'm the same way with you there, Chris. I'm obsessed with the number in the savings account, not necessarily the stock or anything like that, but I'm obsessed with, like, keeping it above our base 0 that we've set for ourselves as a couple,
Mhm.
and, like, there's been times where my I guess my financial discipline wasn't quite good. And, I've seen that number get
Mhm.
really close to getting to that base 0 that we've set for ourselves, house
Mhm.
payments, car payments, stuff like that. And I'm out there buying whatever the heck I want, whenever the heck I want. And I've seen it affect us and it causes that stress. So
Mhm.
that's like where the bad part is. But then I'm presently working on sacrificing activities with other people. It's like going out to
Mhm.
dinner, spending that extra money when you've just seen these people the other night, but they invite you back out kind of thing. So it's like sacrificing small things without sacrificing relationships to be able to stay financially well. So that's where the obsession with like the number on the screen comes back. I feel like it's a good thing, but it can also turn into a bad thing pretty quick if I'm really obsessed with like, oh dude, we're not spending any money. Like, yeah, go out with your friends, but
Yeah,
don't do it excessively. Yeah, get your kiddo a toy, do that, but you don't want to do that all the time, especially when you're trying to teach your family how to be financially smart as well.
that's good. That's really good, man. All right. Final category, self-discipline and leadership. Self-discipline under the banner of sacrificial love. You're going to do it because you want to become a better man and thereby be a better leader when that time comes. Okay. You lead yourself well first. That way you can lead others well and love them well, be compassionate, yet also help them be the best version of themselves that they can be. However, if you take discipline to the extreme, you can become a tyrant really quick. And I'll say for myself, I try to be very disciplined in the way that I think. It has been a strength of mine. However, when I make thinking correctly the main goal and I make it a selfish thing, I will correct the crap out of my kids. And it's kind of a pain in their butts. I've definitely overdone it. And I'm actually in a process right now where when I hear them say something wrong, where like my little dad alarm bells go off and like, oh, I got to correct it so that they don't turn into a terrible person. I got to be like, you know what? They're a kid. They're 4.
Yep.
We got time. It's gonna be okay. And what's really cool is that as I've kind of lightened up a little bit, I've lightened up on myself. And it's okay to make mistakes. Like, I'll look back 10 years from now and be like, "Oh, yeah, I was an idiot on this, that, or that thing." And you know what? That's okay. So be careful of how you can take discipline, your self-discipline. And if you are beating the heck out of yourself, you might not know how to restore yourself or restore other people. Sometimes my kids just need to go out and play. I ask a lot of them and they do well. They do really well. But sometimes they are done and they need to play. Consider that. All right, guys. So that's the end of the episode. We just wanted to flesh this out so that you could see the importance of sacrificial love because it's not just like another thing on the list, sort of next to everything else. It is the thrust and also the governor on anything that you do. It should be the thing that moves you forward but also the thing that holds you back from overcompensating on some of these pillars. Okay. So I just challenge you guys instead of thinking, well, am I saving more money? Am I being disciplined? Am I going to the gym? These are all great categories. But you need to ask a deeper question. Why am I doing this? Who am I doing it for? Okay. Ask yourself one of those questions and you're going to find that that cuts through a lot of the BS out there. A lot of the fitness influencers, a lot of the money gurus, a lot of the self-discipline, self-help coaches. None of those things are inherently bad, but if you'll begin to notice people's motivations for why they do certain things. And most importantly, you need to notice in yourself, and I work hard on this too. I am preaching to myself here. You need to know why you are doing what you're doing. Are you doing it for selfish reasons, or are you doing it for those people that you've been given responsibility over? I give you that challenge this week. So let's see. Last thing, coupon code for this episode is LOVE. LUV. So we love you guys. We hope that this series has really helped you out. Honestly, it's really helped me out. Just talking about these categories helps me realize, oh, I need to do better at this. So love you guys. See you next time. All right, man, finally, we ended it.
That's all right. That's all right. Good stuff. Good stuff.
All right, man. Cool,
Sweet.
bro. What do you call me? Brotato chip?
Potato chip microwave.